Hey YouTube, I'm really sorry that it's been forever since I've done a video, and I've just been off in mommy land and really trying to get, I don't know, things just organized around our home and taking care of the kids. Taking care of 3 kids is definitely, you tend to say it's easier than 2 kids, but Leah actually has a lot more problems than the other 2 ever had. So sorry, Oliver he's a terrible 2, so if anybody is messing with his cars or anything right now, he throws a screaming fit for like 10 minutes. So but I don't know what to do about that one. We're trying to slowly get him to calm down towards that, but I know it'll eventually pass. So but anyway, it's been, I think, a year since I've actually talked to you guys on YouTube, other than just doing one-take videos. The reason for that is because my video editing was on our old computer, and that actually died back in, I think it was September, and so we ended up buying a new computer, but I don't know, like, I'm nervous to get a new video editing system, because it took me forever to finally get the hang of the old one, and I don't know if I really have the time and the patience to sit down and actually learn a new one. So it's a work in progress, but maybe eventually we'll get there. So yeah. Things that have happened over the past year, this is probably going to be about 2 or 3 videos, and I do apologize for that. But first off, first thing first was that Leah, when she was, you guys know, when she was just about a week old, we found out that she had acid reflux / GERD, and so that was really difficult to really adjust to. It took a very long time. I spent maybe the first 2 months crying all the time because I didn't know how to handle it or how to help her. We were going through, like, to the point where she was throwing up her bottles immediately after she was drinking them. And so I was actually washing a full load of receiving blankets, and you know how thin those are. So I was washing a full load of those every single day. So that was really, really overwhelming. I'm probably going to have to stop this and go figure out why they're fighting still. But, oh goodness, 4 and 2, it's a fun stage. But yeah, so we were doing that every day. It was just a lot, and they wanted to put her on Zantac. We tried that a couple times, and she would just throw it back up anyway, and it didn't seem like it was helping her. And they finally, like, nobody really seemed interested and concerned about it until November, December. So she was already 5 to 6 months old before they even started to be concerned, because she only weighed 11 pounds at 6 months old, and she was that 2 months prior. So she gained like maybe a couple ounces in 2 months. So that's when they started realizing that she was a failure to thrive baby, and that she was just really, really skinny. It was kind of gross to just look at her, and I felt, you know, as a mom, you just want to know what you can do to help, but it's, yeah. So she had to go in for ultrasounds and blood testing and leaving samples and anything like that. They couldn't find anything wrong. So we had also seen the specialist for it, and he was actually really rude to me, so we did not want to go back to him. He kind of treated me like I didn't know what I was doing, and that I was doing everything wrong. And it's like, first off, I have 2 other children that are absolutely healthy, and we never had that problem before. So, but I pretty much did not want to go back to him. So we had let the pediatrician, she's not really a pediatrician, but she's the doctor that we've taken our kids to I let her know about the situation with the specialist and stuff. And we kind of just went with the flow with it, because January came along and we decided to start giving her things that would, I don't know, thicker foods and stuff like pancakes and waffles. We started giving her those, and then she started fattening up, and before we knew it, she was 18 pounds, 20 pounds, and now she's a healthy 24, 25 pounds. So it really was just great because we figured out what helped her for the most part, and her acid reflux really started slowing down. And now it's kind of at the point where she might have a problem with it maybe twice a month, where she kind of just has a couple days where she's spitting up a little. She also has a problem, like if she eats recently and someone picks her up and is kind of tugging at her stomach or kind of just flopping her around and stuff, then she has a problem. So yeah, that's really gone, yeah. But the other thing that happened with her is that I think it was back in January, I'm not sure of the exact date, but I started noticing that when she'd fall, she was screaming so much, and then like I would find her and she'd be on her belly and she'd kind of be flopping. Like well, I didn't really know what to think of it. Like at first I thought maybe she was just struggling to get up, but there would be other times where she would fall and she'd get right back up and be just fine. So I started to think that maybe it wasn't struggling. And then back in June, I had two of my nephews, sorry, I'm sitting on my knees and they're falling asleep. I had two of my nephews and my niece Natalie over, and I don't know if you guys can still see me, I don't think so. I should probably sit on a box. But my two nephews and my niece were over, and it was right after Leah's first birthday party we had up near where my family lives. So we decided to bring the little ones, well, they're not really little, they're 12 and almost 9 and 6 years old. And we decided to bring them down to stay with us for a week. We do that about every other year. And there was one night where we were all just sitting down eating and watching a movie. And I'm actually going to go ahead and stand up because I don't think you guys can see me. But we were just sitting around watching a movie with the kids and eating dinner. And Leah was in the kitchen, and Ava at that point was always trying to pick her up and stuff. And I would tell her several times that she can't do that. But a 4-year-old doesn't really listen that well. So that night she ended up putting her over by one of the kids' air mattresses, and then she had crawled back into the kitchen, so Ava went back in there and got her again, and I told her to stop, but before I could even get up, really, I just heard a thump on the floor, and our kitchen floor is hard tile, so I went in there, and immediately she was sitting up and her head just dropped back into our pantry doors, and then she was just like, you could tell she was struggling to breathe, and then she just fell on her stomach again and started doing the shaking. Like, it looked like she was having a seizure. So I was kind of like, okay, what if she's, what if she's hitting her head really hard or something and it's causing her to do that? So then we addressed the situation at her next doctor's appointment. It didn't last more than 30 seconds, so I didn't feel like it needed to, that I needed to call 911, which I was alone with 6 kids, so I was kind of like, I can't really do that, and especially the fact that she got right back up afterwards, after I was able to get her to breathe and calm down and stuff. She got back up and she was playing again, and she was just fine. So I felt like I could wait until her doctor's appointment in a couple days. So then when we went to her appointment, we talked to the doctor about it. We let her know that the acid reflux we feel is fine. We really feel like she just has it because she drinks too fast. So there's really nothing that can be done right now until she learns that she needs to slow down. You can't really tell a 1-year-old to slow down. So we figure maybe by the time she's 2, she'll start realizing it. So we addressed that situation, and she explained that she wanted to definitely have her seen by the neurologist. And So she said that we would get a call back in probably a week or so, and they would set up the appointment, and we would go in for a confrontation, and then after that we would go in for an actual appointment. So then a couple days go by, and we weren't expecting to be going to see anybody because she had said it would be at least a week. So we were actually going to go to see Finding Dory with the kids. We were all getting ready and everything, and we downgraded to just track phones a couple years ago, and so I only had like 10 minutes on my phone. So they were calling me, but I was in the shower, and then I got out and we were getting ready, and my phone wasn't working for some reason. I couldn't turn the voicemail on. I don't know why, but finally after 30 minutes I was able to listen to their voice messages, and it just said to call back. They didn't say anything about urgency. The second message though, it kept cutting out, so I didn't hear any of it. I heard her name, and then she said the area code, and then it cut out, and then the end of the message said, "Thank you, have a good day," and that was all I heard. So my plan was that after we saw the movie, we were going to go to the store and get diapers, and then also get minutes for our phone, and then I would call them back. I just thought that they were calling to let us know that they had set up the appointment, so they were going to let me know when we could go see the neurologist. And so I didn't know that it was of concern. So within about, I don't know, it was like maybe 11 o'clock, we were going to go see the 12:20 showing, and no, it was 11:15. We heard a knock on the door. We thought it was our Schwann's man because he comes on Thursdays, and so then all of a sudden Daniel comes around the corner and says, "CPS is here." So I was like, what? And my first thought was, okay, what if our neighbors called? Because I let Ava play outside in the rain the other day with her boots and her sweater on. Big deal, she was out there for 5 minutes. And so I was thinking that that might have been the problem, but then I walked out there and asked what was going on, and the second they said it was for Juliana, which is Leah, I call her Leah, they said that it was for Juliana, and I immediately knew what it was about. So I was like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? And so we explained the whole situation with them. We had no idea what was going on. They put the doctor who called, because they were like, well, we can't tell you who called. I'm like, oh, I already know, trust me, it's very obvious. But she had them put neglect on the form, and I was like, I can guarantee and promise you that there's not an ounce of neglect in this home. So they basically just went through to make sure that we had all the chemicals put away, and that we had food, and then they wanted to see the kids' bedrooms, which the kids' bedrooms are better than any room in this house, so I was, you know, just fine with that. The only thing is I was a little bit embarrassed because there were some crumbs around and some blankets and dishes in the living room. I hadn't gotten to, because I was actually having really bad cyst pain. If you guys know me, I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I was having really bad cyst pain the day before, so I didn't get to clean up the house. And so I felt pretty embarrassed about that, but they reassured me that my house was clean. So that made me feel pretty good. And these ladies, we weren't mad at them. They were wonderful. They were very sweet and stuff, and they were laughing with us, and basically we got an A+ on their report. So, but they basically called CPS on us because they wanted Leah to be seen at the emergency room right away. And I was like, well, why couldn't they say that over the voice message? But the next day, after I had minutes and I restarted my phone and stuff, the second voicemail went through, and I heard the whole message, and it said to please call me back. I don't think she said, like, I think she just said right away. And so if I had heard that one, but it was all just big I don't know, it was all just crazy. So we went ahead, we were like, yeah, sure, we don't mind taking her to the hospital. We were the one that addressed the situation. We want to know what's wrong. So we took her to the hospital, and they saw her in the ER. They did, Daniel went and took the kids out to play while I stayed there with Leah. And they did an MRI on her, and then they also did a CAT scan. No, they didn't do the MRI. They did an X-ray. And they also did blood work and stuff. They had to put, they were planning to put an IV in if she had to be admitted. But then they came in and said that everything looked fine, that they would do the other testing with the neurologist at a later date. So they told me that we could be sent home. So I called Daniel and let him know that he could come back and get us. And then the doctor came back in and said that the neurologist called and said that he does want her to be admitted for the night, maybe even the weekend, and have the other testing done right away. Because I guess with neurology, you could wait months to be seen. And it was the fact that she's a baby, they wanted to see her right away. So they did the, oh gosh, what is it called? I forgot what the testing is called. The very next day, they did the one where they put the little probes all over her head, the wiring and stuff. I forgot what that's called. I don't know why. And so they did that, and they said that because I had mentioned breath holding spells to the neurologist, and I saw him, and he was really, really nice and wonderful. And he said that that actually sounds like it's something that could be going on. And so he said that if that test came back fine, he was going to go ahead and cancel the MRI, and we could go ahead and go home. Now the thing is that breath holding spells is exactly everything that she's been doing. They say that basically babies, they don't do it on purpose, they're crying too much, and they can't breathe or can't catch their breath, and so they start to lose oxygen through their brain, and then they either pass out or they go limp, like she did once, and then they can have a small seizure. So what she was doing was having a seizure, like I thought. And so the thing is that for babies that are anemic, it is much worse. And Leah is anemic. They found out at the beginning of the year that she's anemic, and so she's been on iron. The problem is that I put the iron drops up where all the rest of the medication is, and so I was constantly forgetting to give it to her, and I think she was getting it maybe twice a week. So after that, it's like, okay, well, she was diagnosed with that, and that's the treatment, is the iron. And so I'm now putting that up in the cereal cabinet, so when I give the kids breakfast in the morning, where all the breakfast food is, I see it right away, and so I'm instantly reminded to give that to her. But it was kind of like, well, crap, this was all my fault. That's the way I felt. And they were like, no, you don't. They're like, you know what, even adults forget to give, take their own medication daily. It's not, so they were like, it's not something you should blame yourself over. But yeah, so then we went for the follow-up appointment with the doctor, and I let her know that she is fired, that we are looking for a different doctor. That was the last time she was going to be seen there, because that was just out. That was ridiculous that she called CPS over the fact that I didn't answer my phone within an hour's time. So yeah, apparently doctors can do that and get away with it. So, but yeah, I was fine. I'm like, I don't have anything to hide or anything. Our children are well loved and taken care of, and very, spoiled if you ask me. But yeah, I was like, there's no neglect, abuse. We don't do drugs, drink, anything like that. So it's like, okay. Anyway, I need to go check on the kids. I feel bad that I've already, this is why I don't do this very often anymore. So I'm gonna go check on them real quick, and then I'll do part 2 and talk about the other 2 kids and stuff. So anyway, I'll be back. Bye.